Hi everybody and welcome back to Make It Monday on Facepalm Studio. So for today's video, we are going to be going over how to make this, the fly-in for my Twitter and Facebook logos. I've been wanting to do this for a little while now and I just haven't had a lot of time. As you guys can probably tell, there's been a little bit of a lapse in some of the videos on this channel. I do apologize for that. But we've had a lot of stuff going on and we needed some time to be able to get things sorted out. So, but now it's time to start improving some of the production value for Facepalm Studio and making these Facepalm titles here for Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, whichever where they're at, is going to make this a lot easier for us. And being able to have something to fly in, kind of like our subscribe logo that we made. And so I'm going to show you guys kind of like the basics of how to use After Effects and how to make something like that. So that way you can just kind of drop it on your timeline and it's ready to go in Premiere. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how this goes. So first things first, I'm going to make a new project. And we're going to want to find the items for our composition. So we're going to go to the web here. And I already have a Facebook and Twitter logo that I've been using. But I actually kind of wanted something a little bit better resolution so that way it's a little more scalable. So I'm actually going to grab the ones off of Facebook and off of Twitter. Facebook official logo. If you search that online here, you can actually get the actual brand portal for these. And I believe Twitter also has the same one. So I'm going to go ahead and just download this pack here. And we're going to go ahead and put this in our assets folder here on Facepalm. So let's go to Facepalm branding. We'll go ahead and just save that zip file there. And we're going to do the same thing for Twitter. And you can do this with a lot. YouTube has one, Twitter has one, a lot of different stuff like that. So here are the brand guidelines, Twitter logo, that's all we want. Let's take a look. Let's go back into After Effects. And so we want to do a new composition. And we're going to make some of these windows a little more friendly here. So we're going to do new comp. And we want it to be the resolution that we're going to be working with. Right now it's set to the 3840 by 2160 at 30 frames per second. I tend to do these at 2K. So let's look and see if we have 1440 by 1080. That would probably be good. I'm looking for, this seems a little narrow still because that's film. Okay, well, we'll keep it at the Ultra HD 4K for now. That should be fine. 16 by 9, that's what we're looking for. Do we want to do 60? I think we want to do, we'll do 30 frames per second still because that's still pretty reasonable. That can be upscaled to 30 pretty easily. And I'm going to make the duration, we're going to make that 30 seconds. Just so that way we have some room to work with it. We can cut that ourselves. And then the background color is going to be gray. So now we have a gray backdrop to start on. So now we need to import our files that we want to use. So these are the branding logos that I have from before, but now we actually want to use the Facebook one and the Twitter one. So let's go ahead and do this here. We want to do online, and we're going to do the color one. And I don't know if we want to do the EPS file. PostScript, yeah, we're going to do PNG, and we're going to do 1024. And then we're going to also import the Twitter logo, so that way we have that ready to go. So let's come back here to branding, and we're going to do Twitter logo. And we're going to do a Photoshop document for this one. We're going to do blue. We're going to do import. And it's going to merge the layers as footage, so we're going to say OK. And now we can go ahead and bring these in. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in there. And for now, we're just going to go ahead and scale it. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift so that way it scales correctly. And come on. Come on. Or we can actually just grab the scale modifier in here by dropping down these arrows and going down to transform. We can drop that scale uniformly like this. So we'll go ahead and bring this up to the top here. And then we're going to do the same thing for Twitter. We're going to go ahead and just drag that into our scene. And we'll go ahead and bring that down. And let's go ahead and drop the scale down for that. I want them to be roughly about the same size. So we're going to have Facebook in the top left corner. Something like that. We're going to have Twitter in the bottom right. And then usually footage is over here on this side here. So that's going to be our base. And then, so if you want to kind of see what we're looking like right now, this is going to be an alpha layer background because we don't have a solid in the background as our base. We just want it to be an alpha fly-in. I also think I want to add an effect on these. I want to add a little bit of a drop shadow to both of these. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to come over here to our effects and presets, and we're going to look up drop shadow. Drop shadow, and I'm just going to double click it, and that should apply it to both. And let's see what we got here. We want to see if we can get the direction to show here. So let's go ahead and turn our layer on. Okay, so you can see it a little bit. So we want to increase that distance just a little bit. Maybe something like that. Bring the opacity down a little bit again. And we'll bring the softness up a little bit. So you can see here now we have a drop shadow. It's applied to both of those objects, which is perfect. And now we want to animate these. And so we have a few different ways we can animate these. I want them to come in one at a time, so they're going to be offset from each other. So we're going to start with Facebook and then Twitter. We might want to do a few different versions of this. We might do Facebook, Twitter, Twitter, Facebook, Facebook, Twitter. You know, I do that a lot. I mix it up all the time. So what we should do here, I wonder if we can do, let's see here. Let's go to animation presets, and let's see if we have a preset here that works well. Transitions for movement. Let's see here. 2D spin, spiral, bubble. I kind of want it to be like a fly-in. So I wonder if we do a slide swoop maybe. So let's go ahead and drop that onto our Facebook logo here, and let's see what that looks like when we hit the play button. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Okay, so that played after 3 seconds. So 1, 2, or I guess it was after as fast as 1 second there, which is fine. And then it lasts, which is what we're looking for. We want it to stay for as long as I'm talking about it. And actually, we probably can make that run a little faster. So if we drop this in and go down to effects, we can go to our slide master control here, and we can actually play with these keyframes. So if I go ahead and take this last keyframe here and I bring it back just a little bit, so about half there, we can go ahead and control that speed of that fly-in. So go ahead and hit play. So that comes in quite a bit faster now. So we'll go ahead and let's bring it a little closer. I don't want it to be like too quick. That I like. Go ahead and bring it out a little bit more. Perfect. All right, so now I like how that effect works. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna see if maybe we can just grab that, and no, it doesn't let us copy it. I was gonna see if we could just take the same thing and apply it to this one, but we're gonna have to do the same swoop on the Twitter logo. And that's what's really nice about After Effects is these quick presets and stuff like that. So now we're gonna go into our slide master control here. Now you can see it's actually started where my timeline hit. So we get a chance for Facebook to come in, and then now Twitter's gonna come in. So we wanna also make that a little bit shorter, and then we're going to go ahead and bring these a little bit closer together because I want them to come in one after another. So we got Facebook and Twitter. And I do like how that comes out. We're going to bring it a little bit closer here, and we're going to bring that in just a little bit more. Facebook and Twitter. Boom. I kind of like that. And actually, I kind of want to move Twitter up a little bit. Just going to bring it a little bit closer and bring this one a little bit down a little bit. Let's see how that looks. Facebook and Twitter. I like that. I think that came out really well. So, since that's what we came out with, and that was quick. I know I have this whole thing set for 30 seconds. It's definitely not going to be that. So we can actually shorten this up by bringing this down. This is going to be our in and out. So let's go ahead and make that 15 seconds. So that way we have something to render with. And so if we start here, now we want to go ahead and render this. So I'm just going to bring my render view up here. And, oh, actually, I have to queue it for rendering. So let's go back to our project tab. And we're going to take this. This is our comp 1. So this is our composition that we're working with here. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this. And we're going to name this logo fly. That's what That's what we'll call this one. Okay. So now if I go ahead and close this out here and we go to open it back up, you'll see that we have that listed here. So say, for example, I want a new composition. I have something else I want to make here. So let's go ahead and add a new composition at the same resolution. And I want to import the subscribe logo here for this. So let's go back into branding, and I have a subscribe video format here. Actually, it's the MOV is the alpha one. So we'll go ahead and click and drag that into our scene here. And because I always talk about wanting to go ahead and subscribe first, I swipe my hand across and that's when the swipe happens. So if I play this here, we're going to see the subscribe happen. But now I want to also talk about Facebook and Twitter. So if I wanted to animate that whole thing, now I can take my logo fly and I can drag that into the scene here. And we're going to go ahead and offset that. So I want that to happen probably a second after. So we'll go ahead and bring this back. We'll hit play. So we're going to go ahead and subscribe, and then we're going to also like on Facebook and Twitter. And so for this kind of a thing, might be a little close to each other. So what we can do is I can go ahead and then space this out a little bit. And I can scale these down. So I can scale this whole comp down by going to transforms. And it's separate from the whole set of everything. So now if I want to go ahead and bring this up, I can now customize how this is looking. And I can scale it how I need to make it work for the scene that I have. And in this case, I'm just trying to make something generic. But if I wanted this to render out, go ahead and subscribe to Facepalm Studio and also like us on Facebook and Twitter. It works just fine. It works exactly how we need it to. And it actually looks pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Is there more things we can do to make this better? Yeah. Is there more things we can do to make this look a lot cleaner? Sure. But I think that for our use case and what the project is asking for, this is perfect. This is exactly what we need to be able to get a good project going. So now we can go ahead and rename this composition. This is going to be subscribe and follow. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select both of these. We're going to right click we're going to select both of these compositions, and then we got to edit them and send them to the render. So we want to go ahead and export, add to render queue. So now if we come down to our render queue menu, I'm just going to hit tilde, and that's going to open this up the rest of the way. So you see here we have the logo fly and we have the subscribe and follow. It's going to use the best settings, and we need to add an output area to that. So we're going to go ahead and make a spot in our branding folder here for our logo fly. So let's go ahead and make a new folder here. We're going to call this logo fly. Go ahead and save this. Oops. Open, save. There we go. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing for this one. And we're going to go ahead and queue this in Media Encoder, so that way it doesn't have to sit here and we can keep working on stuff if we wanted to. Okay, and so now you can see here that in Media Encoder we have our two logo flies that we're going to be rendering out. We're going to go ahead and hit play here. And this is actually rendering them out as MP4. I actually want them to render out slightly differently. So we're going to go ahead and change this a little bit. I want these to be... Oh, let's see here. I want them to be MOVs, so that way they have the, let's see. I want them to render out as MOVs, so that way they have the alpha in the background. I think right now they wouldn't. So let's go ahead and change that setting here. Where would that be at? Oh, what did I click on? So we can do that as an AVI. I'm trying to think, what am I looking for? It's called QuickTime. We may not have access to QuickTime. Oh, we could do the ProRes maybe. Let's see here. AVI uncompressed. Let's do that. Let's do AVI uncompressed. So that way that could render out, and it should be able to pull up. We'll test it and see how it looks. So we'll go ahead and render this out. Oh, it changed the resolution on them. See, that's why you gotta be tricky. You gotta be careful with them. You see how here it says 720 by 480? It's not the resolution we wanted to render out to. So actually, let me go ahead and stop that. Okay. And we'll go ahead and, yes, we want to quit. So let's actually just work from here. So this is going to be our best settings, and this is going to render out how it's supposed to. So we'll go ahead and select both these for Q, and I'll just hit render from here. And this is going to export where it's supposed to be as an MOV. And if I minimize this menu now, you can see here it's actually playing out those fly-ins for the render here. So I can go ahead and bring this up so we can see the progress bar. Maybe. Oh, it's because it's rendering now, so it doesn't want to show us. But it is progress. It's going through that right now. There's one. And here comes number 2. I have to look into the settings to see how I can get that to render out while I'm still working, so that way it doesn't snap up all my time. I have to look and see how to get that to be the MOV format. That's for another video. Ooh, coming up with content. Actually, maybe I'll write that down. Okay, almost done. Perfect. Okay, so now those are both finished up. I do want to save this project so that way I have the access to be able to edit this later. So we're going to come back to our branding folder here, and we're going to call this logo fly. And logo fly. Perfect. So now After Effects is closed out. Now let's go into Premiere, and we'll just go ahead and try this at the end of one of the videos that I have queued up here. So let's say, for example, if we just open up this IT Tuesday that we were working on here. We'll jump all the way to the end. And so this is where I talk about subscribing. So now if I wanted to go into our project here, and we'll go ahead and grab our new logo fly, and we want the subscribe and follow, just as an example, we'll go ahead and open this up. Go ahead and drop this here at the top. And let's see. See, it did not do it. Oh, that's the AVI. That's right. Okay, we need to grab the other version. We need the subscribe and follow move. Okay. So now if we drop this here at the top, why is it not showing us? Interesting. What did I do? Oh, I know why it wasn't showing up. Still doesn't mean that it wasn't working. Okay, hold on. Let's go back into Premiere for a second, and let's zoom this out. Okay, it still has the gray background, which is not what we want. So let's go ahead and make sure. So that's turned on. Toggle transparency. Okay, so we want the transparency on when it was queued. So let's go ahead and try and see if this works how it's supposed to. So let's render this out one more time. And we'll go ahead and say okay. And we'll see here how it's rendering. Boom. And boom. It's because it was too zoomed in. The higher resolution was what the problem was. But that's not a huge deal, because what we can do is, so right now it's matching, and I can just key out. I know it doesn't make sense, and I need to look into why it's doing it, but if we do key, and we want to color key, let's see here. Let's let's do a color key on this, and let's go ahead and just select the gray color. Now it's going to unkey that. We go ahead and so we were able to hide the other one as well. And yes, it's still a little funky because of how the keying worked, but that is how that works. I don't know why it didn't render properly though. I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit. Probably something with the composition settings. Dark gray, resolution full, drop frame, square pixels, 3D render. Oh, let me see here. There's got to be an option here that I'm missing. Should have just done it white, but I don't know. Okay, we're gonna have to dig into this a little bit, guys. But for just the sake of this, that's how that works. That's how it's supposed to work. And yes, I had to do a little bit of magic, IT magic here to get it to actually fly in the proper way. But things are up and working for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's gonna be it for today's Make It Monday. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe here to Facepalm Studio when you go and like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and until next time, that was the run exit. I was gonna say adventure on. Until next time, guys, keep creating, save the pain that I just had, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.